All right, have and have not fans. Now, this video, I'm going to start doing episode reviews a little bit differently instead of like, long-winded review episodes, because I usually end up doing at least maybe half a dozen, if not more, videos during an actual week talking about different elements of the episode. Now, this is going to be like a pretty relaxed kind of video. I'm just going to talk about my general thoughts. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, because during the week, I will have more videos uploaded. I'm going to be honest, I'm so hyped off the episode. I'm probably going to record all the videos tonight and then just upload them through the week periodically. But I have to say, Errand Boy, episode 5, I actually enjoyed it. I really did. Let me tell you why I feel like this episode sets itself apart, not just from the rest of the episodes this season, but from a lot of the episodes from the actual series. Now, the reason this episode was so good, in my opinion, was the fact that there was no crap. Like, David, he was fed up, with the DA. He wanted to go see his son. He's like, you know what? He's taking charge of the situation. He went back there. And Justin, literally, that was a scary, well, it wasn't like super scary, but it was really creepy. You know how Jeffrey woke up and Justin so casually said, "Oh, I put you to sleep," and that just shows you I can be as crazy as you make me, and the fact that you're not going to lose me anytime soon after everything I've done to have you, his marriage allegedly causing the accident in Veronica, and then pressing Jeffrey up against the wall. When David walked in, what the hell? I was done. I was like, that was probably the best opening. The reason being is because I was so sick, and I feel like a whole lot of fans felt the same way. So sick of the whole Jeffrey being taken advantage of by Justin. But you want to know the better part? Aside from David standing up for his son, that was awesome. You know what was one of my favorite parts? The fact that David was like, "I don't have time for this mess, Jeffrey. Tell me what's going on now. None of these games, none of this. No, I'm okay. I resist it. It's okay. No. David wasn't having any of it, and I loved it. I loved it. Literally, that was probably one of my favorite openings of this season so far. I was just so done with the crap. And I will say this much, even though Jim is just very disgusting, I will admit, I did like his scene with Sarah at the hotel. I did like that, just because it showed us more of more history, if you will, about Jim's character, and the fact that all these judges and, people with power, they would do what it took in order to get somebody into bed. Like, Sarah, prime example, somebody in her, I believe Jim said, like her young college days when she was a law student, got rid of her records, from being a hooker and whatnot, pretty much erasing her past and giving her a fresh start. Similar to how Charles is willing to erase Candace's past for her to have a fresh start as the potential first lady. Interesting. But yeah, I did like the dynamic of Jim in that room. Yes, it was disgusting, but at the same time, let's just be honest here. When was the last time we saw Jim actually take control of a situation? And the fact that he plans on having Sarah get rid of all the evidence that the DA has gathered so far, I'm wondering what will happen when George finds out, when he discovers what's going on, because he's trying so hard to come up with a solid case in order to go against the Cryers and Harringtons. But if all that evidence is gone, what are they going to do? And did you see the way Jim's eyes kind of perked up when, well, ears perked up when Sarah was explaining that the witnesses between Wyatt and Jeffrey? So that leads me to believe that Jim is going to go over there to help Wyatt at some point, because I do believe in the preview we do see where Wyatt is actually being held back by Jim, and I want to say Jim walks in when Justin is attacking Wyatt. I do believe that's going to happen, but based off some previous episode previews. But yeah, at the end, I will admit, it was kind of like, take off your clothes, face down on the bed, the position, and don't act like you don't like it. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And the fact she's getting married to a, well, grandfather, if you will, like a judge that's old enough to be her grandfather. And Catherine and Hannah, that was just, I'm an introvert, so I have a couple of friends like Catherine, and I gotta admit, I love the fact that Catherine's kind of taken a back seat this season so far, but she really does mean well. I just love the fact that she's looking out for Hannah and pretty much saying, like, look, I get it, you've been through a lot, but you can't just mope around all by yourself all the time. It's like, look, Hannah, if you don't want to take the woman's the house she wants to give you, at least go out for a cup of coffee with the man. Come on now. So, all right, so we got that. I'm trying to say the best stuff for last year because, again, I'm just trying to make this like an open conversation. I'm trying to do this video pretending that, you know, you're sitting right in front of me. We're in like a living room just talking about the episode because I really did enjoy it, guys. I really did enjoy it. So Candace getting arrested, I do feel like that was a bit, it wasn't what I thought. It was pretty clever. It's just that maybe Gia isn't the undercover vice that I thought. But I guess that means she got arrested for robbery. So yeah, it makes sense because Candace led who knows how many guys up to her room and literally just robbed those guys and sent them out. So one of those guys, I don't know, was it the same guy that we saw in her room before Benny showed up? I don't know. But I will say this much. She's going to be in jail next week, and we're finally going to see Quita. It's like, you killed my brother. Now your ass is about to fry. So I can't wait to see that. All right. Then you just look at Erica now. The fact that she's been trembling and whatnot, the way Candace is literally shutting her down is like, look, you knew what you were doing when you were running with war, so just don't be surprised if I bust you upside the head with a bottle. So I don't know. Let's say Gia isn't a undercover vice. Who's to say that her and Erica won't team up? I've done videos on this, but I think that Candace can only push her so far. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, then we have, let's see here, Hannah, George, Justin. I'm looking at my notes here. All right, well, I guess it's time to get to the two parts here. Number one, let's just talk about the ending first. Wyatt, Justin, he has a crowbar like the Joker, beating him up like Jason Todd. But I did notice how the crowbar got knocked out as soon as Wyatt tackled him over the couch. But I mean, honestly, Wyatt, it looks like he's holding his own. But remember when Justin got beat up by Quincy, those two fought because Jeffrey made the first punch. But then next thing you know, Quincy threw him over the counter and beat the crap out of him. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens next week. Now, aside from nobody taking crap, let me talk about a couple of things that I liked about the episode. Well, loved. Let me say loved. Didn't you notice how Benny was, in my opinion, Benny was probably one of my favorite characters this week because he pretty much pointed out a few things to Veronica. He talked to her like he wanted to. He pointed out stuff that Veronica didn't want to, doesn't want to accept, like her son being gay. And then I love the nod to season 2, back when Benny and Jeffrey first met. And it was actually, was that, what season? Yeah, I think it was season 2. Basically, I know that's when Candace was staying over at Jeffrey's house. Benny went over there to get her. And Candace said that I'm sending a man to your door. And Jeffrey's like, oh, no, you're not. So when he opened the door, that's why he kissed Benny, because he thought Benny was that same guy. And Benny hit him. That was pretty funny. I think he had him in a choke, like he choked, like he had his hand around his neck and put him against the wall, asking where his sister was. And I think the trigger word for Veronica was when Benny said control freak. Did anybody catch that? Not only the look on Veronica's face, but that change, like the music that was playing was really like, dun, 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 just like a basic sound, like, hey, this is a touching scene. But then that one, I love how Tyler Perry did that little stroke of music that sounded different from the rest. That was pretty much Benny pushing that button. Remember back in season 2 when Amanda was literally nuts? She would not take it if somebody called her crazy. So I guess you could say the trigger word for Veronica is control freak, which is absolutely true. And I love that because Benny is kind of like the audience in the sense that he isn't a part of the Harrington family. He just knows what he knows what he's seen. And the fact that her son is gay, that she's a control freak, and he was literally telling the truth. And now we have Veronica, having him as an errand boy going over to get Monday and Tuesday's clothes. And may I say, Melissa, oh my gosh. Now, I'm not talking about the whole, man, she isn't pregnant, she isn't showing. That's true. But my gosh, I tweeted Tyler Perry, I'm like, look, we saw in the preview for next week that Melissa's going to say the same thing to Mitch that she said to Benny. Do you think I'm sexy? Is it true what they say to tall guys? Say about tall guys? All I'm saying is, if Melissa is throwing herself at every guy that walks through Veronica's front door, Tyler Perry, put me in the next episode. I know it's been recorded, but you could edit me in there. Fly me out there by Thursday. We can work something out. My gosh, she is fine. I swear. Whew. But some people actually tweeted me out saying that it was a setup by Veronica to have something on video. I didn't catch that. I mean, if that's in the preview for next week, I didn't see it yet, but I'll do a video on that once I get more information. But my gosh, Melissa, I mean, a woman has needs. Her son looks at me like he's disgusted. I've been locked up in here for a long time and lost her confidence. And that really explains a lot, because if you could just put yourself in Melissa's shoes, it makes sense, because she literally got sold like cattle to a guy who isn't into women and pretty much is used as nothing more than a guinea pig for a quote-unquote grandchild that we have yet to see a baby bump. And she's been talked down to by her mother, Jeffrey, Veronica. I mean, there's nobody that seems to actually care about her, so I can see why she has become this oh, Antoinette is fine. I'm sorry, she is fine. I can't even. But going back to, I'm sorry, I'm distracted now, but that was overall, guys, I think I feel like this episode is probably about a 9.9 or a 9.5. I feel like Errand Boy was a pretty solid episode. We got some good setup for future scenes. Like, you know, of course, we're going to pick up with the whole Justin and Wyatt fight. I just feel like Justin is going to die. There's no way Justin can make it through the rest of the season. I feel like he's going to die at some point. But we got good setup. I love how people didn't take crap. David wasn't taking Jeffrey's crap. Jim wasn't taking Sarah's crap for different reasons, obviously. Benny was pretty much dropping truth bombs. And let me just talk about the Charles and Landon thing. I feel like Landon is going to be digging his own grave, just like Maggie did when she was trying to get with David. I just feel like he's going to step out of line, trying to probably sabotage Candace at some point. I will find it interesting when he takes that flight to go see Candace as Landon requested. I want to see what that encounter looks like, so we'll just have to wait and see. But with that being said, you know, I'm going to cut this video short. I didn't even think it would go over 10 minutes, but I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. 9 or 9.5. I feel like it's in between that range. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. There is a lot I need to talk about in other videos, so let me know your thoughts on the episode. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.